Tonight at 9, every year I-10 is used by millions of Americans to travel across the United States. And here in South Mississippi, it's the most common way that we commute from one coast city to another. But I-10 is also heavily used by criminals and cartels, and it's an integral part in how they move illegal drugs and weapons throughout the region and the rest of the country. I spoke to officials on the federal, state, and local level to learn more on their fight to keep I-10 in Mississippi safe. It's one of the busiest interstates in the country, and it runs right through the heart of South Mississippi. I-10, a vital corridor that connects Mississippi to Louisiana and Alabama, but it's also a critical corridor for criminals and Mexican cartels to distribute millions of dollars worth of illegal items to the region and beyond.
The interstate system and illegal drug trafficking, they go hand in hand, and I-10 is no exception.
Stephen Hofer is the special agent in charge of the DEA New Orleans sector, overseeing the fight against the flow of illegal drugs in the Mississippi, Alabama, and Louisiana region. He says I-10 is one of the most effective ways cartels have in not only exporting product, but making sure that the money they make on the other end makes its way back south of the border.
They're trying to smuggle either the chemicals that it takes to produce illegal drugs, the final product, trying to go to where the customer point is, and then also the money or the proceeds that are obtained from the purchases have to go back most likely to their original producer or the original kingpin back in Mexico.
Seizures of cocaine, heroin, methamphetamine, fentanyl, and large volumes of marijuana are common along the I-10 corridor in the region, but trafficking doesn't just stop at narcotics.
Also, don't forget, there's plenty of other crimes that we come across, either hand in hand with the drugs or separately, and that is illegal gun trafficking. There's money laundering, like we already talked about. There's human smuggling. All of those we come across on a daily basis.
Collaboration with state and local agencies is one of the most effective strategies the DEA has in the fight against illegal activity on I-10, and that's where officers like Sergeant Sexton of the Harrison County Interdiction Unit come into play.
Interdiction is interdicting crime that's ultimately going from point A to point B, intercepting that before it kind of becomes a bigger issue.
Large part of how interdiction units perform their job is by doing exactly what you see here, keeping a very watchful eye over I-10.
We conduct a lot of traffic stops. Our unit is trained to detect nervous behavior, criminal activity, and trained just to take that traffic stop one step further if that needs to happen.
And when it does go one step further to a search, criminals get very creative to make sure whatever they're trafficking doesn't fall into law enforcement hands.
These organizations, they go through extreme measures to be undetected. They try to blend in. They'll hide contraband literally anywhere in a vehicle. We found contraband in gas tanks. We've had it to where they've taken the components out for the four-wheel drive for the transfer case, and they'll load that up. We've seen it in batteries that are hooked up to the vehicle, and tires that are on the vehicle. Really, you name it. We've seen it.
This can be seen in just a few seizures from the interdiction squad. $490,000 hidden in a tractor trailer, another 25 pounds of fentanyl seized at an everyday traffic stop. Sergeant Sexton says it's not very often they go less than 3 weeks without a major bust. And Sean Tyndall, the commissioner for the Mississippi Department of Public Safety, says these sort of busts in recent years have become more than common.
Last year, the Biden administration, we seized over 100,000 grams of methamphetamine. The year before that, I think we seized over 10,000 grams of fentanyl along these 3 coastal counties. So, a lot of that, again, is that direct flow, I-10, coming right through all 3 of our coastal counties.
Recently, MDPS met with Kash Patel, the director of the FBI, to discuss more ways to address the flow of illegal items and immigrants into the state. And when it comes to the fight against illegal trafficking on I-10, Commissioner Tyndall says that once again all comes back to a united front.
Ultimately, what we've got to do is work together, because what the criminals really like is when we're not working together. They're working together. They're trying to sell these drugs. They're trying to damage our communities. And the one thing they love to see is a fractured law enforcement community. So by working together in collaboration, we can help stop the flow of those drugs and firearms and illegal firearms and other things into our communities.
After COVID, overdoses were at a record high, but DPS says that number has now fallen by 40% as agencies across the state continue their fight for a safer Mississippi.